Hey everybody, thanks for coming fishing with me today. It is fall and the fish are on fire out here on Lake Darbonne. You can see my lures coming down right here, right towards these two dots. They're on this tree. So I wanted to show y'all how this really goes a lot of times. See this? I wasn't perfectly lined up with these fish. I was just a little bit off. There they are right there, but they're still there. There's two fish sitting right on this stump down here, this tree. And so I'm about to try them again. I adjusted where I was casting just slightly. I was probably 3 inches away from where I needed to be with that cast. But you want your jigs to be the exact same brightness as the fish. And so you see here comes one. Here he goes. He followed, yeah, okay, he committed. So we got this one. But what happened is I backed up a little bit more, and those other trees kind of oh, that's a good fish. It's a big crappie. But those trees were interfering with this. Ooh, that's a really big crappie. Way out there, 42 foot away from my boat. You see my jigs dropping down. I'm going to lose them behind this tree, but watch that fish. There he goes. He jumped on it. That's a big fish. Yeah, you can see him coming in. Look, you can still see the fish. He's up there. He's going to break the water here. There he goes. So you can see him come all the way in. We just happen to line up just right where you get to see him all the way in. This is a big fish. And with those bigger ones, oh, there he is. Those bigger ones, I was having to set up on them really far away today. So that was 42 feet away. And if I had pushed in closer, he probably would have spooked. Although I can see a fish on the screen there around 20 feet away from the boat. It's still just sitting there. Not as big as this one, though.
It is not.
Look at that one.
Gigantic crappie.
This is a 15-inch crappie. And so, very big, very big fish.
That is a beast. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm going to measure him.
Put him on here. 15 inch crappie. Probably 1.5 pounds. It's a big one.
That was a very scientific weigh-in method I did for 1.5. He felt about 1.5 pounds. It is fall right now, and you see all the fish just kind of everywhere right now. And so I wasn't targeting a specific fish on this cast, but you see that little school of them that were right there. There's still 2 or 3 sitting around there. One that's just hanging out there. Oh, I smacked him on the way up. That's my bad. There was a little school there, and so I was just kind of casting and dragging through that school, and one of them smacked it. But this is one of the best times of year to fish out here because the fish get so active as the water starts to cool down. And some of them will, you can get the fish that are out in the open water, but these that are on the timber, like this one that's sitting right here on this stump, they seem to bite much more readily. Watch this. He's going to see it, come up, chase. Is he going to commit? There he goes. Okay. So I'll give you guys the only thing I have figured out to get these fish to go from chasing and not committing to actually committing when they do that right there. When they start to chase, a lot of times they'll turn around and not hit. I figure you have to have action on the tail of your jig. Whenever they start doing that, if you'll put, use a curly tail or a thumper tail. Ooh, there's one. He was sitting right on that limb. Now I saw him when my jig was coming down, but I kind of lost sight of it. That's a tiny fish though. Very small. Yeah, he's going back. I saw him on the way down when my jig was falling, but I kind of lost sight of it. But probably because he was so small, he moved behind the tree. But if you'll put action, like if you find a color they like, just put some action on the tail of the jig. Change over to a thumper tail or a curly tail. It makes a big difference. This fish got spooked here, turned up. He said, "What in the world just ran into my tail?" And he ate it. That was a big fish too. Going for the net on that one. Yeah, I have figured out the, getting a more active lure makes a huge difference on those fish that follow and don't want to commit.
Ooh-wee.
That's a big fish.
That's
Goodness.
another hoss.
You can only keep
Big fish.
7 of these out on Lake Darbonne. And I got all 7 today. The last one in this video is my number 7, and I quit after that because I'd already gotten so many fish. It's really more than I wanted to clean anyway. But fall is just such a... I'm going for this bottom fish there. Oh, he turned. He came back up for it. I kind of lost sight. It was real hard to see on that one because I think I wasn't quite lined up well, and I was trying to drag back over to him. That's an eater, eating size. So I can only keep 7 big ones, but I can keep up to 50 of the small ones here on Lake Darbonne. And so I like that size, about the 10 inchers. Now that's a big fish. If you look down there about 36 feet away from the boat, that's what I'm going towards, is that fish right on top of that stump. I kind of lost sight of my jig here. Okay, I wasn't lined up. So I wanted to keep some of these in here where I'm messing up, or, okay, that's better. I'm perfectly lined up this time. Same brightness as that fish. Scared him. He came back around and nailed it. I wanted to keep that stuff in here where you can see, I cast out there. I adjusted my view using my foot, my foot fisher. It lets me turn that transducer pole with my foot. And so I shifted back around and realized I was not lined up with that fish. So I quickly reeled back in, did a better... That's a big... Look at him, the way he's fighting. I thought this was going to be a monster, the way he was fighting. But this is really just I think about a 12-inch crappie. Yeah. But I adjusted, and I wanted to show this here, right here. So this is the foot fisher. This is... a lot of you guys will ask me, how do you stay lined up, have such clear video all the time? This is kind of my cheat code right here. So I'm just lining myself up perfectly to where I stay, aimed exactly where I want to stay aimed. And I'm able to still keep both hands on the fishing pole and guide my lure exactly where I want it to go. Especially on windy days where, your boat is shifting around. Or your trolling motor is pulling you in this direction or that direction because you're on spot lock. You can, you can adjust where you're aimed at with this thing. That's a good fish. I can't remember how big this one is. He looks like he's about 10, maybe 11. That's a pretty good fish. But that's kind of how I do it. I know a lot of you guys. Just about every video, I'll get a lot of comments and emails about how do you keep your screen so clear, how do you stay lined up, and that's how I do it. It's there's fish. That's what I'm doing to stay steady on the windy days right there. But man, these fish were on. Okay, you see that fish 35 feet away from the boat? I'm dropping down on him. This looks lined up pretty good on this cast. I'll see if he notices it. Yep, here he comes. He's coming back around. Oh, and we missed the hook set. I wanted this fish. I think I only put a few of these attempts in here because this was a big fish. I actually chased him for probably 10 minutes, but after that one missed hook set, I never could get him. Look, he turns back around, sees it again, and now this one does that follow thing. Follows. Nope. He said, I've already been stung by whatever kind of weird bug this is. I'm not biting him again. And I never did catch this fish. He was a big one. That was probably another 14 or 15 inch crappie. Big fish. But it's okay. But yeah, I seem to remember the ones that I miss more than the ones I catch. Well, y'all might be that same way. I can catch 20 crappie. I'm going to remember the one that I lose right at the edge of the boat more than I'm going to remember the 20 that I catch. This one looks a little smaller. He was right close to the... Yeah, small fish. I probably shouldn't have even targeted that fish. He went back in the water. You see the one I'm going after. 20 feet away from the boat. down there suspended, just hanging out, waiting for a bait fish to come close. I'm going to go right over him, and then today, there he goes. There he goes. Today, the presentation they wanted was they wanted it run into them. Some days, if you do that, they spook and they'll get out of there. Today, I had to actually run it into them. If it wasn't smacking them in the face, they weren't biting it. The water was slightly stained today, not bad, so I don't really know why. It was one of those days. Usually, I don't have to do that unless it's, you know, really, really dark water, but today the water was pretty clear. It was sunny, but they were not moving unless you bumped into them with it. So that's what I did today. Had to get it right on top of them. There they go. They wanted a very active presentation, which makes it fun. Made it a whole lot of fun. Another small one. Now there's another fish right there. I just threw that fish back, and there's another one right there. I didn't have to move, didn't have to do anything. Just take a look to your right, and there's another fish sitting there waiting for you. That is why I love this lake. Same thing here. He jumped on it. It's just one after the other after the other. I think I wound up with 33 today on this day out there. And that's a good fish. Oh, I think I said that's an 11 incher. That's the perfect size out there. So I had a few chances. I think there was one way out there, but I know I'm going for this one that's suspended close to that tree right there. Yeah, you see I'm trying to drop down on top of him to get that reaction bite. But he started moving when this other fish came close. Sometimes that'll mess him up, but this one, there, he notices it. There he goes. Fall is just so much fun, but it can be challenging because these fish will move around a lot like that. So by the time you see them, when you see a fish, you need to cast on it like when you see it. If they're suspending, because they're going to move often. And if you wait that 10 seconds, you may lose them. But these that are on structure are much, much easier to target. They sit still, they're waiting. You can bump over them, get their attention, and then they do nothing, like this one. I'm glad I kept these in here. I wish I could remember where they were in this video as I'm talking through it, because yeah, I thought that one was going to bite. I guarantee you when I was fishing I thought he was going to bite too, but I must have been an inch or two off, and so I adjusted, tried to get my brightness exactly right, moving my pole just a little bit here, this or that way, to make sure I can actually bump into this fish. Yep, to get that reaction. Because that's what it took today. You couldn't be close to the fish. You had to be on the fish. If you weren't, they weren't going to commit. They weren't going to bite. It was that kind of... That's a good one. Goodness. There's another one. And in the south, I'm in Louisiana, and so in the south right now, let's see, I'm coming right by this fish. It's hard to see. I missed him. So I missed my first target, but look what's right in front of us, right? I'm on drift right now, which means I'm not spot locked in place. I'm just drifting backwards. And so there's another one. I lost sight of him. There he goes. As I go behind those trees, you can't really see the fish or lure in front of the trees. But I was on drift, kind of drifting backwards. And we drifted right into another fish that I was able to hook up with. Looks like I'm on drift here also. I'm trying to rush to get back before I drift over them, because whenever I get right on top of them, sometimes they'll spook. But I'm slowly drifting backwards here, which is why that fish appears to be moving towards the boat. He's not moving towards the boat. I'm moving towards him. He was to the left of the boat, and I was drifting real close to him. That was a good fish. So that's another trick that I use. You see me drifting around a little bit. If the fish get really spooky because of the hole slap noise where the water's just bang, bang, bang into your boat, or they're running from the trolling motor, you can drift, you know, find your fish, find them when they're 60 or 70 feet away from the boat, get in a spot where you can drift backwards over them. Because if you're drifting with the water, you're not making that near as much hole slap noise. And so you can drift over a whole area of fish and not have to worry about spooking them. There's some days that's made a huge difference for me in catching fish versus not. Now you see I targeted that small, whatever that was, probably a small bass. But the one I'm going to go for is right below him. Yeah, you see me coming down towards him. I think I was not lined up proper. Now there's another big fish right under me though. Do I see it? Yeah, okay, I see that one. So I missed 2 fish there. Couldn't get hookups with those, but I see this one. And I'm drifting right now. That's why that fish is moving, is I'm not spot locked. I'm just drifting backwards, slow and quiet. That's the big fish. Oh yeah, he didn't move. Whenever I set that hook, he did not move. Not a bit. So that's why I'm drifting around though, is I was trying to stay quiet today. These fish they got spooky once that sun came out good, and I had to get kind of creative to get them, because this big pontoon boat I'm in
is number 7.
Oh, number 7 of the big ones. That's my last fish. Ooh, that's a pretty one too.
That's a good fish.
Very good crappie.
Good
Man.
fish.
But I had to get creative to stay quiet, to stay on these fish today. And so if you see them doing that, if you see them darting away from you whenever you're 40 feet away, just, you know, try some different stuff. Try different methods to stay quiet. Because, you know, if you're not in a pontoon boat like me, you can probably get closer. But mine's very loud. When that hull is getting hit with those waves, it's loud. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you all for watching my video, and I will see y'all again next time. Bye, everybody.